football training program in the residential academy. Let's begin by talking about the football curriculum. How is the football curriculum decided?
Okay, a quick flashback. So when BBFS started 13 years back, we first started off with a coaches training program. We actually trained a set of 13 coaches, some of whom still continue to be with us. Now these coaches who got trained at that time are the ones who developed the entire curriculum for BBFS, for the non-residential and the residential program. And that is a curriculum that we continue to work on today. Of course, it's very iterative. We keep updating them. And the process we follow is that every time coaches come into the residential academy, they undergo a very extensive coach education program, which is something again, which is at the core of something, what we do. So all of our coaches go through this coach education program where they are trained on the curriculum. Now, what exactly is the curriculum? Very briefly, we've spoken about us having the residential academy program where we give a lot of matches to the kids because that is a part of the talent development, right? So our training curriculum itself is also a lot game focused, which means that the trainings are normally simulations of what happens when an actual match situation is and how the children are supposed to be responding during match situations. A lot of the training is focused on the competitions that they play.
Okay, interesting. And when you talked about the fact that a lot of focus is there on the coaches, so on the point of coaches, what is the qualification of a coach who works with you in a residential program?
So we do have, the AIFF licensing is, we've got coaches from A license to D license, but in the residential academy, the minimum qualification is a B license coach or someone who's, say, probably given their first module of B license and they are in the process of completing the B license. And we've got coaches varying between B, some C, B and A. The technical leads, the coaches who lead the residential academies are most often the A license coaches.
Okay, interesting. Now moving on to tournaments. What kind of tournaments do the players play all around the year?
Okay. So these are also, this is also one of the advantages of a program like this. So basically in the residential academy program, because the children are registered with the school, the same school and the same academy, they actually have access to all school level tournaments, academy level tournaments and club level tournaments, right? So when I say school level tournaments, a lot of your SGFI, Subrato, and a lot of, CBSE cluster, all of these are school level tournaments. Academy level tournaments, there are a few, but what is most commonly known is the AIFF Youth Leagues, the I-League, which is an academy level tournament. And the club tournaments are your, we've got 3 clubs that we're affiliated with. 2 of them are in the Super Division, 1 is in the B Division. So, this is the kind of level of competition that the children get then.
Which is spread across the year.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. My next question is around the accreditation. Is the academy accredited with AIFF?
That's correct. So, as per the most recent accreditation process, we have the elite rating, which is the highest rating as it stands now, which is we're a 3-star rated academy, and we've got 3-star rating across 3 of our three places, which is we've got BBFS Delhi, we've got Snipers in the south, and we've got Brothers FC in the west. So, which means that, to put it very simply, we get to field 5 teams under all of the age categories from 13, 15, 17, 19 and 21 from each of these regions, right? So which means totally we get to field about 15 teams for the AIFF Youth Leagues, which is, again, the significance of this is that it just gives our kids a lot more opportunity. It just opened the doors wide for competitions for our kids.
True. Indeed, so these tournaments are going to really help the kids increase the challenge every day and keep trying different new things through the tournaments.
So there should be, it's like we've spoken about academics without exams, right? How is it going to be when your child is going to school, studying throughout the year but not giving exams, right? So this competitions are just those, those are the avenues or those are the places where we actually see whether our trainings are actually being effective, how much of the trainings, because like I spoke before, trainings are just simulations of actual match actual competitions, actual tournaments, right?
Yeah.
Not the real competition. So we need to know whether what we've actually trained them on is actually working in a real case scenario.
Right.
So that is where these competitions help. So training without competition is definitely not going to be beneficial for a player. It has to be a balance of the both.
Yeah. So you mentioned about the growth of the player being tested in tournaments. That leads me to my next question. How do you really monitor this? How do you record the growth of the player, being so many players, playing so many tournaments? How is that done?
So there are many different criteria on which we assess our players, right? Primarily technical, tactical, physical, social and emotional.
Yeah.
These are the 5 criteria on which we basically, we have the app, the Enjover app, which is accessible for parents as well. Now on the app, every single day, every single child is being rated by the coach.
Okay.
Now again, how are we able to do this? Because the children are with us 24 hours of the day.
Yeah.
Right? So the coaches are rating these kids on these aspects every single day. Basis which at the end of the quarter, a consolidated report is being generated which the parent can then see.
Okay.
So now
see the report.
The parents can see the report. Wherein, so we also know what was the past data. We know where the child was when the child came to us. We are able to see the evolution from the time that how the child has evolved from the time they came till to where they are now. Not just that. When every player comes into the residential academy, they come in as a residential academy. They're in the residential academy squad.
Yeah.
Now from there, their journey through the academy is being tracked. Now when I say the journey, every competition that the player is playing, whether it is school tournaments, whether it is the academy, the I-League tournaments, whether it is nationals, districts, whatever the players are playing is being tracked.
Okay.
This again is giving us a progression of where the player has been from the time that player came till the time the player is, or through the journey, what has the journey been like?
Yeah.
These competitions, tracking of these tournament competitions help us to, because let's be very clear, competitions are purely merit based. Access to a competition for a child is also merit based. In the sense, if a child is going to play for, say, a Subrata or even for an I-League, the child certainly is going to be technically far advanced than, say, any other regular player, right? So that is one sign that the child is again technically doing well. So this is the way we track. It's a combination of the tournaments, the age, and of course the ratings that they get throughout their training period.
Yeah. So I think in a nutshell, the data is very, very helpful in tracking the overall progress over the months, over the years, and over the time period that the player stays within BBFS. So it's a very data-driven approach to it.
It is.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Divya. That's it for today. I hope to come back to you with more questions and hope to have a great interaction.
Thank you, Shruti.
Thank you so much.